Anchor slings are for anchorage purposes or to create extensions. Are we in agreement? Each anchor sling has got a safe working load of 230 kg as a safe working load. Are we together then? Are we in agreement? Am I speaking to someone? Alright. Where do we imply such anchor slings? They are meant for anchorage purposes. Why? Because some of our sides, our pylon hooks or scaffold hooks or double action hooks cannot be able to engage onto the beam or onto the anchor point. So our departure point is to use these anchor slings. Remember, they carry 220 kg safe working load. So you engage in that manner. It's each anchor sling per pylon hook or scaffold hook. Are we in agreement there, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, sir.
You said it is the 60 kg or
60 centimeter round anchor sling.
Right.
Then the safe working load, safe working load is 220 kg, not 30, 220 kg. Are we in agreement there? All right. If you are working in a harsh or if you are dealing with hot work, we don't advise you to use the ones that are made of webbing. Your departure point is to use the ones that are metallized. All right? These, if there is a sharp edge in terms of safety, that won't be our departure point. Are we in agreement there, ladies and gentlemen? Am I speaking to someone? All right. So for starters, this is what you would get into the equipment. Secondly, it will take us to appreciate the work positioning lanyard. Please do not refer to this as the work positioning belt. We refer to this as the work positioning lanyard. It has been put in place for one to use both hands whilst you are working at heights. Safe working load is 220 kg. This is not a fall arrest device. It's only for sitting purposes, which means when you are doing working at heights activity, you cannot just sit here without having a fall arrest device in place. I will show you what I'm talking about at a later stage as we go on. All right. So this has been put in place for one to use both hands whilst you are working at heights. Safe working load, 220 kg. That is what you get as a second component. It then takes us to the full body harness or the body protection harness. Safe working load here is 120 kgs but never exceed 150. Yes? Not just this one, even your own harness. As long as it has gone for pool testing with SABS, it means it's 120 kg but never exceed 150. Are we in agreement there? Right. Nevertheless, any harness that you get in your lifetime, if you really want to understand about the harness, please hold it in this manner before you kick up. Are we in agreement? Why? Because corrections are made easier before you put it on, because some harnesses are difficult to put them on. Besides that, we've got an A just here at the back. So this is the back side of the harness. We've got an A here, which means this becomes the back dorsal D-ring or the back fall arrest attachment point. Back dorsal D-ring or back fall arrest attachment point. This is where we connect our fall arrest devices because we've got plenty in the industry. The normalcy or the norm is to get your double shock absorbing lanyard. Okay, I'm going to show you that one. But this is a back dorsal D. Okay. Then, as the manufacturer, each and every harness will have a placard or a sticker on it, depending as the manufacturer's design. All right. For this one, this is where we visit on to after the inspection has been done, because on a daily basis there should be an inspection that takes place. So what is our worry, ladies and gentlemen? It is the date of manufacture, the manufacturer's name, the serial number, and the SABS unit standard must be available. What is SABS? South African Bureau of Standards. This is an association that has been put in place to make sure that each and every product made here in South Africa is of quality before it reaches to the end user. Are we in agreement? Must I backtrack with you? Or we are happy with that answer? Happy? Happiness? Please confirm. SABS, South African Bureau of Standards. This is an association that has been put in place to make sure that each and every product made here in South Africa is of quality before it reaches to the end user, client. Okay. Then we get to the gear loops. These are our gear loops. Each gear loop can only hold 8 kgs and below if it's of this nature of harness. So never put heavier equipment that exceeds 8 kgs onto this gear loop. Are we in agreement there? You're happy? Alright. Then normally on some of our harnesses, here at the back we've got a pouch. I will show you also of the harness we brought them there. This one does not have a suspension trauma step, but I will show you what it is as we do the training. So, ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. On this segment, on some of our harnesses, you should get a pouch. As you activate or as you rupture or as you open onto the pouch, you should get a suspension trauma step or a suspension trauma loop. One may wonder, what is suspension trauma then, if the harness has got a suspension trauma step? So let me give you a definition of what is suspension trauma. Please do not write anything. I like it when you listen to what I say and you take it to your own words. That is learning. Are we together? Don't write exactly what I'm talking about, because this is my own wording according to my understanding. You can also make it better. Okay, your attention. Suspension trauma is a situation whereby a human being is kitted up in this harness, then the harness being connected on an anchor point. Then the weight of the human being opposing the direction of the harness that has been connected on an anchor point. Are we in an agreement? Right? This is known as suspension trauma. If you are a bookworm like me, suspension trauma, it is also known as the orthostatic intolerance syndrome or the orthostatic syndrome or the hanging harness syndrome, because some of the books, if you go on a higher level, they might not say suspension trauma. They'll say the orthostatic intolerance syndrome. Are we in agreement? So if the harness does not have a suspension trauma step now, it means if you slip and slide as you are hanging, because maybe at times you cannot be able to get back to the structure, you then have to deploy that suspension trauma step. Then you put either one foot inside of the step or you put both feet inside of that trauma step. Are we together? As you hang, as you await for rescue. Why are you doing so? So that your blood circulation will keep on circulating. So that your cardiovascular system will keep on circulating. So without a suspension trauma step, you only have got 15 minutes. After then, per every 5 minutes interval, it's kidney failure, lung failure, then it shutters off the brain. Why? Because oxygenated blood won't be made possible to keep on circulating as you are hanging with that, without that suspension trauma step or suspension trauma. But if you do have it in place, it means you can do 48 hours. You can be on WhatsApp, baby, don't worry. You know all those good stories. If you do not have it in place, it means what? Just give us the PIN number of your banking card, and then that's it. It's lights off, it's there. That's how big it is. So, how do we decide what good harness should go where? It's based on our fall protection plan or fall protection planning. If we know that there is chances of you falling over and you cannot go back to the structure, we have to think about the harness with that suspension trauma. That is a competent individual if we were to go that route as a fall protection plan. Because we've got 4 types of harnesses in the industry. This is a fall arrest harness. We do have also the rope access harness. Then we've got the restrained harness. Then we've got the pole climbing harness. So if you are a trained, competent fall protection planner, this is where you decide which harness goes where. Because sometimes non-competent individuals, they just do what? Blaspheme and choose a different harness because they think it suits one, because the glue doesn't chew. Okay, yes sir.
Does this syllabus cover all the 4 protection harnesses?
Okay, yes, it does cover. We are going to play you slides. We're going to show you. I'm also going to do an edition. But let me backtrack. What are the 4 harnesses quickly? Fall arrest harness, okay, rope access harness, the restrained harness, and the pole climbing harness. The 4th one has been just introduced recently here in South Africa. Like if you are doing palm tree pruning, you need to be seated on that type of harness. It uses a waist belt and a chain around the knee, but it's another story of another day. We'll cover that one in case you are interested into that. Say again. The 4 harnesses. Okay, let's go. I'm gonna play it also on the slides. So do not stress. I am going to. For now, it's the listening time. Okay, we're going to cover everything. But when there's questions immediately, don't hesitate to lift up your hand. You're at the right place at the right time with the right person, and we will do render service to what you paid for. All right. Okay. Can I go on? Are we happy about the suspension trauma step? Are you happy about the suspension trauma definition? Okay. Can I go on? Okay. Let's talk about the kitting up procedure. This will be a wrong departure point if you are to put on the harness first. Why? If you then visit to this fourth item, this is what we refer to as the double shock absorbing lanyard. This is a fall arrest device. We've got plenty of these, but normally you guys are exposed to this one here. We call it a double shock absorbing lanyard. This part is called or referred to as the quick link or the oval lanyard. This will be the shock absorber. Guess what? The shock absorber activates or it ruptures or it opens or it activates, right, at 600 kgs as you take a fall. It opens in stages. The shock absorber has been put in place to absorb the shock during a fall and to protect your spinal cord. Safe working load is 100 kgs. Are we together? That's the safe working load of the shock absorber. Then these are our adjustable lanyards. They can be made longer or shorter depending with the scope of work that you are actually attending to. I will explain as we go to our practicals the do's and the don'ts and where to adjust or to make them shorter. Nevertheless, we've got 3 names that we can refer here as professional individuals. What are we saying? Scaffold hooks, that is the normalcy or the norm, right? Double action hooks or the pilot hooks, all right? For you to be able to open to this hooks here, you need to press where there is grip just below. You put your palm there, you activate, you open it. You let go, it must be able to return on its own. If you do this, then you let go, it does not come back, it stays like this. Immediately you must discard it. It must be out of service. Are we in agreement? Right. So this is our double shock absorbing lanyard. So with regards to kitting up procedure, this has to be mentioned also in your fall protection plan. Okay? We don't kit in another way because it's a Wednesday, then a Thursday you kit in another way because it's a Thursday. On Friday, it must be mentioned and discussed to everyone on how to kit up in terms of kitting up if it's this gear. Because at a certain time, if you take this quickly, you try to do that. What's wrong here? Do you have eyes at the back? Okay, at a certain time I was involved in an accident in 2016. I'll let you know about the story. It's another story of another day, but I'll tell you where the mistake was. Instead of connecting to the actual back dorsal, the individual connected on our equipment quarterly tag steel washers. Is if you have that here, there might be serious endangerments leading you to a serious accident. That's why we now have these yellow tags in insulation, so that we don't make mistakes. Instead of connecting to the actual connector, then you connect to something else. But nevertheless, that was not supposed to happen. Why? Because if you are trained properly, you need to accept that this is a back dorsal gearing, that's a quick link. You need to be visual about the two, then you connect. Then there's a screw gate here, all the way to the end. You reach all the way to the end, like that, right? When you reach to the end, just a slight turn to the opposite so that it's not a mission for you to untie. Then here, how do you put on your harness? You put it on like a jacket, left to left, right to right. Okay, the most interesting part, ladies and gentlemen, if you allow me, I find this disheartening. If you were to work on site, stand right, here we go. You are not allowed to have any straps hanging loose after the kitting up has been done. Can you see this? If this goes to an active conveyor belt or to any moving machine, and where are you going to go to? You're going to follow the conveyor belt, right? if it was the conveyor belt. You must let us know how was the journey going to the conveyor belt. That is if you survive the journey going there. Okay. So what are we saying? We've got securing bands at all times. There is a securing band. Slide it in. What happens to the left must comprise to the right side, is it? Then here, it's always good mannerisms or good workmanship to always start from the top going down with any harness you get. Male and female chest buckle inclined. There should be that clicking sound. Pull vice versa, it must stay together. After COVID, some companies started manufacturing these quick releases, whereby if you don't do your ground checks properly, if you do this, it's going to open it. Guess what? You miss a step on the cat ladder. You're going to go out of the harness. You leave everything hanging there. Then you fly all the way to the ground. The last sound is ish. Then you know that. Are we together? They will just say he or she committed suicide because the right training was done. And Daryl did tell you about the ground checks prior to your climbing activity. Okay. Thank you so much for nodding your head. It means that we are still in agreement. Here, chest strength, but it has to be secured. There is a securing band. Not too tight, not too loose, an exception of 4 fingers. Yeah, so that if you fall, the harness is not going to tension you tight. Are we together, ladies and gentlemen? Am I speaking to someone? Are we in agreement? Right. Then it takes us here. Sorry. Male and female waist buckles. Sometimes when we train you, you guys are still able to commit yourself into this action. But if you're an office person, maybe after 6 months training, you might miss this part. You know what? Because this one looks the same as that. But now there's no relationship if you take a leg strip and the waist. If you do this, you get cross. You crush them hard. Look after the biological components, look after the family juices. Put your apples in one basket. Sorry to say this, it's what it is. It's biology. Okay. Women are a bit at an advantage. If you hear that somebody has fallen at heights, you must ask, is it a male or a female? They say a male, you just say, my way rangu. That's what we normally say in Shona. In Afrikaans, I think it's black staff. So, what are we saying? Ladies and gentlemen, what are we saying? Please don't laugh about my jokes when we are done with this. It means somewhere, somehow, the lights are not on and everyone is not present at home. You need to enjoy the jokes now. All right. But nevertheless, it's not a must to laugh. But I am going to break your rib cages as we go through. I can make everyone laugh and enjoy this. But that's okay. It's another story of another day. So, to minimize chances of getting in danger, I always tell the guys, thumbs up. You put your left thumb on the left side gearing. You put your right thumb on the right side gearing. If you do this, there's no quagmire of confusion because you lift up, then you try to join the two. You can really see that no, this one is meant for that segment. Yeah. Then here again, we maintain 4 fingers. So you either feed in or you feed out according to your biological structure. Then guess what? There should be another securing band there. Okay? If you find that you don't have one, I'm not doing any modification. I'm just putting a sense of saying I'm secured. Then I report about this. Okay? You don't do any maintenance on this equipment. It has to go to the manufacturer. We're going to cover that also at a later stage. Let me do the kitting up procedure. Then it takes us here. I hope no one supports Orlando Pirates in this class. Do we have individuals? It's a good team, but not when you work at heights. Okay? Why? Because here, if you make an X whilst you're walking on the ground, if you make an X and it was a Monday, Papa last from Sunday, they forgot to blow you there or you are stressed. You see this X? It's not going to forgive you there. Because this X from where it is now, if you fall, from there, it's going to reach here, and this might come out and something might pass out from there. So, when it comes to this. But when you know your music, put your apples in one basket. So what are we saying? You take the right to the right, you take the left to the what? To the left. Not to make an X. You exit, you get crossed. So here, that's your good connection point. The left side is where? Is there. That's why you're on training. They really knew. You think you do 500 kg case to come and joke with you. No, man. So, according to the leg straps, it shouldn't be too tight again. So you must find out your harness, or you must show me. I'll tell you what it is. Is it a too tight setting on the leg straps, or it's a semi-loose 4-finger setting? Because we don't want it to be too tight, so that when you fall, you still have space for the biological components. Because some of the times, if it's too tight, if you fall, it's gonna get you into trouble. Okay, are we still together? I like it when you are so serious. It means you are listening to attention. All right, then here, 4 fingers. Are we happy there? Right, that's it. If you are right-handed, it means these pilot hooks, according to this manufacturer, we engage just around there. Are we in agreement? Right. If you are right, then as a right-hander also, I work positioning, lanyard. Remember what we spoke about? These are called snap hooks. To open to that gate, you press here, you attempt or you access to the opposite. You let go, it must be able to return on its own. If not, don't use it. I engage to the other side of the deal. Okay? So this goes like that. But as a vertical challenged person, okay, don't undermine vertically challenged individuals. You can be like that, but the result is like that. Then you can be vertically challenged, but the result is like that. If you don't get me, then forget about it. Okay? So what are we saying here? It's very simple. As a vertical challenged individual, if I walk around, there's a tripping hazard. It's not safe. Okay? So what are we saying? I always recommend that you chuck this point onto the gear, just like that when you're on the ground, so that you have mitigated chances of any tripping hazard. Are we in agreement? Any questions? I have been talking too much. Any questions? Are we still together?
Yes.
Are we moving? We really need to move. From today, it's not going to be the same when it comes to working at night. Some of you, you're going to be doing breaks. When you see something is wrong on the side, hey, please come down. This is not what it should. I'm telling you, it might come to that. All right, if you really enjoy what I'm saying. As a competent individual, we expect you to have the shock absorber above the shoulder at all times. This is a competent person. And if you've got level 2 fall arrest technicians, this is what they are supervising you on. According to the law, you are not allowed to only work as level 1s. Hopefully, I'm going to get another class for fall arrest level 2. It's not a full class when it comes in, but it's a supervisory course, because you cannot be on the same level supervising the same level. Because when you get into trouble, or if you've got a cramp, or if you slip and slide, you're aiming. Who's going to do the rest in this group? Unless you have subcontracted someone to be doing that responsibility for you. Do you have level 2 fall arrest technicians here? So according to what it said, there was supposed to be a level 2 course, because for every shift, it's level 1 and a level 2, with the rescue kit back on the side. Even us, we brought rescue kits. In case something happens during our training, we will do rescue you. You won't get an ambulance outside there. Lucky Pumela here, you've got mines somewhere close. Yeah, the guys are trained to do. But now, it's what? It's only 15 minutes, which means that guy must come here with a jet or a helicopter. If the harness does not have a suspension pro must have. Is it making sense? Okay. So a competent individual must have the shock absorber above the shoulder. When going up, ascending or descending. Vice versa from this good video, then you are climbing up and down, then the shock absorber is under the shoulder. And these are connected on a rungs or steps of the cat ladder. What's going to happen to the shoulder if you fall? This is going to dislocate. Can you see that? This will prevent it. So that's why we want you to be there. Nevertheless, don't make another mistake of taking the anchor slings, then you put them above the shock absorber. If you've got broadened shoulders, like the two bosses, got 3, 4 there, yeah, broadened shoulders. If you slip and slide, what happens? That's a choking hazard. They'll just say he or she committed suicide because the right training was provided. Working at height is very stubborn. The accident, normally you died and you can't be able to explain yourself. You'll be seeing yourself as a ghost in the office. People are lying about the incident, but you just made a mistake. You are trying to tell him, no. But no one can hear. Right. So what are we saying? You take these to the opposite side. So that if you fall, it has nothing to do then with the anchors. Guess what? These are our fall arrest attachment points or front attachment points. Gents, don't go home and say, baby, can I touch your front attachment points? Me, I won't be there. It's your own sexual harassment. What am I saying? Don't say the wrong words at home. Front fall arrest attachment points. That's going to be something else. I say it's for the hands. If you say there, it's going to be your own sexual harassment. I won't be there. We teach people these words. They get these words at home. That's a problem. Whatever. Are we still happy? Does this make sense? Okay. The moment, I think I must go up there. The moment you get a crack, a discoloration, or an abrasion, report, remove, replace immediately. We call it the RR system. Right? Before I can reach to this point, there was supposed to be an inspection, right? Then I qualify to be like who I am now. Because here, we've got hardware and software. The hardware part of this equipment is made of metal. So corrosion, rusting, bendings, and cracks are off our worry. How do we do the inspection? We visualize and we do a hand field inspection. Then we tick safe to use, depending on the segments. Because on your PPE checklist, all these components are in. Are we together? Then the software part of this equipment is made of webbing. Stitching, cuts, phrases, unusual soft sections, unusual hard sections. Not forgetting discoloration due to chemical exposure is of our worry. Then the other question to you now, is that a gin and tonic set? It's water. Okay, the moment you change this bottle, if you say water, it's going to be 100 rand. Then if you say water, it becomes maybe 16 rand. All right, let's go on. Are we happy? So we visualize and we do a hand field inspection. Are we in an agreement? Are we happy? Okay. Any questions? Okay, the question that I need to ask you, how old do you think this equipment should be in circulation before we can fully discard it? How old do you think your equipment should be in circulation?
3 years.
3 years? Yes, I had a 5 year.
5 years.
5 years?
No defense.
Okay, if not defense, 3 years. 2 years, sir. 2 years. Okay, the correct, you've got two good answers, but let me explain. 5 years is the correct answer, according to what? To our weather conditions that we succumb here in Africa. You go to Europe, the same equipment is granted 10 years. Are we together? So according to occupational health and safety, this should be 5 years in circulation. After 5 years, we don't throw it away. It has to be brought back to the manufacturer. Then the manufacturer will assign a competent person to do what? To do a re-measure check onto the equipment. Are we together there? Then you might get back a report that says safe for use, and you get a certificate of conformity, maybe back with 5 years or 2 years or 3 years, depending on the condition of the equipment. Are we together there? Right. So what happens now if 5 years elapses without you using the equipment? Then you want to use it the 6th year. You bought it today, you never used it. Then the 6th year now you are active. Can you use the equipment? You can't. Why?
5 years.
Okay, but why do you think so? Why do you think the law states that? We are now also preparing you for fall protection plan. Why?
The material.
All right, let's make it nice and sharp. Let's not put cosmetics on it. The reason why it's because that the manufacturers, they don't want to be held responsible after that 5 years because they don't know the storing conditions, how you were storing the equipment. We've got cats, dogs, and mice. They might be urinating onto the equipment, whereas manufacturers are not aware of. And also nicotine exposure does also affect the equipment. We do not smoke in our harnesses. Are we together? According to safety, hot work, hot ashes might be burning also the equipment whilst we were not aware. Nicotine exposure. So it's not a smoking area when you are here. Okay, this shouldn't happen. It can never happen. Then the 3-year period, all right? The 3-year period is based on a company policy. Because some companies are dealing with dangerous chemicals. So they do acknowledge 5 years, but they don't want to reach to 5 years because of their nature of work with an agreement. Am I speaking to some? Thank you. I hope I have met your expectations with regards to equipment and inspections. We are now going to our respective slides, then we'll see how it goes. All right, you may cancel. I'm putting you in a